Hi, welcome to our Yoga for Everybody session today, Skills in Self-Care. My name is Skylar Ramirez. Let's focus on stretching and stabilizing the hips and pelvis today. To begin, let's start standing in mountain pose. So establishing a stance where the feet are about the width of the pelvis bones. From here, let's roll the shoulders down and back. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up and overhead. Exhale, sweep the arms back and start to lift the pelvic floor muscles, engaging the thighs, lifting the kneecaps. Relax the thighs. Inhale, soft through the knees. Pull up the kneecaps, pull up the pelvic floor. Exhale, take the arms down. A few more like this. Big inhale in through the nose. Pull up the kneecaps, pull up the pelvic floor. Big exhale. One more. Relax the pelvis and knees. Now contract the pelvis and pull up the knees. From here, let's inhale both arms up and overhead, stepping the left foot back, a very casual stride, and bending the right knee to find warrior one, opening up and stretching that inner hip thigh, little bit of rotation out on that hip as well. From here, let's circle the arms behind us, reaching down by the low back. We might lace the fingers together if that feels good for us, or we can place the hands by the low back for some hip support. As we inhale, let's bow out the chest and pull the elbows back. Exhale, relax the ribs. Inhale, pulling up the ribs in the chest. This is going to pull the muscles that go along the front side of the body, all the way from the left chest down through the left hip, down to the knee. Exhale, soften. Just one more. Big inhale. And exhale, soften. From here, inhaling, sweeping the arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive. Bring the hands down onto that front right leg and push your hips back behind you, feeling for almost a spread across the hips and buttocks region as we stretch through the back of the hip and those sacroiliac joints. Inhale and lengthen your heart and ribs over that front knee. Maybe start to straighten the right leg a little bit as the body experiments just a little bit with pyramid pose today. On the exhale, open the mouth and move the jaw around. The jaw is intimately connected to the hips, pelvis, and low back. So if there's any tension in the hips here, we could potentially release that tension by relaxing the jaw. One more big inhale. Exhale, release the body down over that front leg. Maybe walk those hands down to the shin, maybe touching the floor. Let your head hang loose and shake the head yes. Then turn the head left and right. Come to a still point. Exhale from the throat with a big exaggerated sigh of relief. From here, let's slowly bend that right knee. Walk the hands up onto the right thigh. Let's stop at about a third or halfway with both hands on that right thigh as we attempt to get a big stretch into the sides of the hips now. Keeping our left hand on that right leg. We're circling that right arm, big clockwise circles with the arm, stretching the muscles that are around the shoulder blades, the chest, all the way down the side of the right hip and foot. One more big inhale, open it up. Now tuck the right knuckles into the low back with that right hand. Keeping that right knee bent, we're pushing down into the left heel, lengthening up through the heart and the sternum. We can always come forward a little bit. This could create some different stretches along the back side of the buttocks and the right hip. Now, when your body is ready, let's exhale all the way, then pause. On that pause, pull your navel in and up really fast. And now twist. Then release that belly contraction, staying in the twist. Press into the inside blades of the feet. Breathe into the upper right lung. Drawing that right shoulder back, press the left shoulder forward. This stretch is moving along the side of the right hip, and it wraps over the sacrum into the left hip and down the side of the left leg. One more inhale. Exhale, slowly bend that right knee a little more. Maybe support both hands on the thigh. Reverse swan dive. Bring the arms up. Big breath in. Let's pat ourselves on the back with our right hand. Then take the left arm down and around behind you. Stretching now the front of the hip from the right armpit down to the front of that left hip and pelvis region. Continue to lunge forward, bending that right knee. Press into the left heel. Inhale, pull up and out of that right armpit, and maybe lean a little bit over to the left. So we're working in a stretch on the right hip as well. We can always look over the left shoulder to keep the neck safe and comfortable. At least one or two more big breaths here, breathing into the upper right lung. Let's slowly bring it to center, taking both hands down to the sides of our body, stepping to the top, feet at hips width or pelvis width position. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, sweep the arms back and around. Two more breaths, flying the arms. Exaggerate the exhale. Inhale up, pull up the kneecaps, pull up the pelvis, big exhale. Let's bring the hands to the heart. Stepping our right foot back this time and bending the left knee. Inhaling the arms straight up and overhead to find warrior one. Firmly pushing down into that back right heel while we continue to lunge forward, pulling the shoulders over the hips, nice shoulder to hip alignment, and then reaching from the fingertips, pulling out of the armpits and ribs. On the next inhale, let's sweep the arms behind us, maybe keeping the hands by the low back or lacing the fingers if that feels better. Straightening out our left leg as we inhale, we're pulling up through the ribs and pressing the hips back, lengthening the ribs over that front thigh, lengthening the ribs and the heart over the left knee. One more big inhale. Exhale, allowing the upper body to come down, draping over that left leg. Maybe releasing the arms down either to the left thigh, maybe a hand or both hands come down to the shin. And of course, we can always let the hands dangle close to the floor. Let's shake out the head and neck, giving the neck an opportunity to release or to express any tension or any stress that might be trying to hide in the spine. We're just going to shake it out. One big exhale with a big exaggerated sigh. Relax the jaw. Let's slowly bend that left knee. Walk both hands up onto the left thigh. Pausing with a flat back. Keeping that right hand on top of the left thigh. Let's circle counterclockwise. Sweep and circle the left arm. Continue to press back into that right foot. Inhale, open the left arm. Exhale, bring it down. Two more. Inhale, open. Introducing that bit of trunk rotation into the practice. Open, last one. Let's take the left knuckles into the low back. Continue to bend that left knee and press down into the right heel. So you have these opposite energies that are going to center and stabilize the body. Pressing down and back into the right heel, shifting forward, then pulling up and out of the belly. Exhale all the way. Pause. Navel in and up. Adding in a little more rotation at the waist, swiveling at the navel and waistline towards the left into the twist. At any point, you are welcome to experiment with straightening the left leg as well. This could introduce some different sensations to the stretch and across the hips. Inhaling into the upper left lung this time. Exhale, holding in place. Just one or two more, holding here. Let's slowly unwind the spine to center. Keeping that healthy bend in the left knee. Inhale, both arms reach up and overhead. Let's take our left hand and pat ourselves on the back with that left hand. Right arm comes around and down to the low back. Maybe closing the eyes so that we feel a stretch that moves from the right heel, up the calf to the back of the right knee, winding through that right inner thigh to the front of the right hip, and then across to the left armpit, pulling up and out of the left elbow. Exaggerating the breath, at least two more big inhales here. Last one. Let's release that left arm off, bringing the arms beside us, stepping forward to find our strong mountain stance. Feet are anchored into the earth. Knees are pulling up and knees are soft. Inhale, fly the arms overhead. Exhale, sweep the hands back and push the hips back, bringing the hands forward as if you're going to shake hands. Inhale, arms go back. Reach it up overhead, extended mountain. Exhale, sweep the arms back and around. Sit the hips back and reach forward through the fingertips. Just one more. Inhale up. Exhale, sweep it back. Reach the hands forward and let those hips press back. Let's come to standing. From wherever we are, taking a wide stance with the legs. So if you're on your yoga mat, you may want to turn to the long edge of your mat. Without a mat, simply take the legs out to what is called a standing straddle position. Both toes are forward in this position. We're lifting our right toe, pivoting on the right heel, turning the right toe out to the side while the left toe stays forward. From here, we'll bend that right knee. Hands go onto the waist for a little bit of balance and a little bit of awareness of the pelvis, which is directly linked into those hip joints. From here, sway the hips back, sway back into that left hip, dropping that right hip down, and maybe just straighten that right leg halfway, and then bend the knee again. Inhale, straighten, maybe just halfway with that right knee, and then bend. One more. Inhale, straighten, and exhale, bend. From here, we may choose to either keep that knee deeply bent, maybe we straighten halfway, or experiment with straightening all the way through that right leg. Pressing back a little more into that left hip. We're opening up the side of the right body, the side of the right lung. Extend that right arm out, palm facing down. And we're attempting to keep the armpit lifted and open, reaching over the right knee while we're here. At some point, let that right hand come down, noticing where it just naturally finds itself. If it's on the kneecap, maybe slide the hand up to the thigh or slide that hand down to the shin, just a little bit lower. From here, let's extend our top arm straight up to the sky. Inhale, pull the left shoulder blade back and press the right shoulder forward. So we're creating another twist, another swivel at the waist and ribs. Option to look up, maybe look straight ahead, or look down at the floor. Breathe deep into the upper left lung. Just 2 more, holding here. This is a really big stretch for the outer part of the left hip and what we call the IT, iliotibial band. 1 more inhale. Exhale, lower that top arm. Let's bend the right knee. Slowly draw the right hand up to the waist. Let's turn the right toe forward, picking up the left toes, swiveling on the heel, turning the left toes out, bending that left knee, dropping the left hip, pushing back and lifting that right hip a little bit. So there is an active pelvis shift or even a tailbone shift going back. Let's deepen that lunge, maybe straighten it halfway. Exhale, deepen. Inhale, straighten halfway. Exhale, deepen the lunge. Last one, straightening the leg. And now maybe noticing if there's any place in between that deeply bent knee and the straight leg. Finding that sweet spot for your body today. It could be straight leg, deeply bent, or anywhere in between. From there, we're pressing back a little more into that right hip as we lower down to the left. Reaching that left arm out. The palm is down. We're reaching over our left knee and over the left thigh. Eventually allowing the hand to land wherever it goes naturally on the leg, avoiding the knee joint. Slide that hand up to the thigh or past the knee to the shin. Continue to pull up and out of the waistline, drawing that right shoulder back, pressing the left shoulder forward, and then noticing where the neck feels most comfortable, maybe even experimenting with the head position. Looking up is very traditional. It will also be the most strenuous. Looking straight ahead, keeping the neck and head in alignment with the rest of the spine, or turning to look down. Option to extend that right arm straight up to the sky in our expression of either a side angle or triangle pose. Exaggerate 3 big breaths into the upper right lung or even just under the right armpit. Big sighs of relief to release the hips. Relax the jaw. 1 more. Let's bring our right hand onto the hip, bending the left knee, rising up, both hands onto the hips. Let's turn both toes forward and bring the feet in so it's a little more of a conservative straddle position. Taking a look at our toes, we have an opportunity to experiment with a really big stretch that wraps around the side hip into glute medius. It's a little bit of a pigeon-toed foundation with the forward fold. So we may want to start with first, just imagining that you're able to keep the edges of the feet parallel to 2 walls next to you. Another option is to turn the toes in a little more so that the heels go out and the toes turn in, keeping the knees soft. When we bend our knees, the knees would go in the same direction as our toes with this gentle pigeon toe expression. From wherever our foundation is, let's support the pelvis as we're going to stretch the back. Pelvis is supported. Inhale, lift the heart. And then exhale, relax a little. 2 more big breaths to prep the muscles in the trunk of the body. Big inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Big inhale. Exhale. So maybe we stay here. Maybe this is the stretch today. The option is to lower down a little bit on the exhale. Big inhale. Pull the elbows back. Lift the ribs. And now exhale. Press the hips back. Pressing into the pelvis, stopping at any point when our back or our body says No. We just listen to the body when it says no. Relax the head and the neck. Anytime we explore the pose or the stretch, reaching closer to the ground, let's do that with an exhale. Big inhale. Exhale, relax. Big inhale. Exhale, relax. Maybe just 2 or 3 more. Hands can stay on the shins, on the thighs. Hands could be on a chair or a desk. Keeping the legs straight, not locked out, but definitely straight, just almost locking out the joint. To safely come up, let's inch our heels and toes closer to each other. Keeping the toes forward, we'll walk our hands up to the thighs, pushing the hips back, pressing the belly against that top thigh. Straightening our arms so that we're able to contract the spine, strengthening the muscles that control a nice posture, the pulley system in our posture. From here, pulling the tailbone under, rounding the low back, arching the back, curling into that nice soft C shape with the spine, dropping the head. Coming to neutral with our back. Let's walk the hands up. And now shake off your arms and shake off your legs. In closing, let's come to any seated position. Since we know that tension in the jaw and face is intimately connected to the hips, there is a unique breathing technique we can do to release the hips and to exaggerate a release in the jaw. It's called lion's breath. It looks like this. You just take one big breath and then you exhale. If you're in a public place, I understand where it might feel strange. So of course, you could just exhale as if you're fogging a mirror instead. It's the same gesture with the mouth that we would make when we go to the doctor and he has the tongue depressor and he says, say ah, real big, stick your tongue out wide and say ah. It's that exact same movement. Let's try 3 of these together. Big inhale and exhale. Inhale big. Exhale, tongue out. Last one. Let's come to seated. Now the final thing that we can do with the jaw just for today to release the hips throughout the day, this is especially useful, especially if you know that you cannot get up and move around. What you can do is take the very tip of your tongue and you curl the tongue under so that the very tip of the tongue only touches your gum line in the middle behind your 2 front teeth. So if you have your 2 front teeth, you have the gums that separate. Behind that, the gums behind the 2 front teeth in the very center of the gum line, you just gently take your tongue and curl it up to touch that point. This is a specific acupressure point that can help to disengage the muscles in your throat and jaw, which could potentially relax your back, pelvis, and hips. So while you do this, curl the tongue up and just press lightly. Maybe close the eyes, lower the chin. Allow the bottom lip to fall away from the top lip. In fact, it could feel like more effort to keep the lips closed. And this is the whole point, is for those muscles to disengage. So relax that lower lip, relax the lower jaw. Keep pressing with the tongue into that acupressure point. This is known as Jiqua Bandha. Jiqua Bandha. It is a tongue or a throat lock. Breathe easy, inhale through the nose, exhale from the throat, and maybe start to feel the air as it splits and filters out through the pockets of your cheeks. Let's bring our palms together at the heart. This is our final closing gesture. From here, we can draw in a deep breath together and let it go with a sigh. I thank you for joining me today in our practice to stretch and release tension in the hips. Namaste. I will see you next Monday. Go enjoy your beautiful day.